guys, Matteo dummar here, and this is how I solved the scramble. Now obviously for those that don't know, I used the Lin method. Anyways, I counted even on this scramble, so my solution for even is actually mainly because of how this was placed. The following: I reduce to shield kite and then finish solving it. Now what I immediately noticed while solving was this green piece and this green edge and this green corner. So I decided to pair them up immediately as while solving it, so that this one ended up here. So this block was pretty easy to make, and I also kept track of the blue edge as I was going along, since it was pretty easy to place. So I actually looked for the two corners, none of them were up, and when I saw that this one was pointing here, automatically I knew this one was pointing backwards. So I knew the case I had, and that was pretty easy. And I actually got kind of lucky because I got these two pieces placed like this, so I know I'm gonna have a PLL. Now I noticed this block, so I'm either looking like at a J perm or an F perm, something along those lines. And in case I've not done CSP correctly, it could be something else. But here I see these two colors are opposite. Now this means that there's no block behind here most of the time. So yeah, because these two are opposites, that means I have an F perm. And I immediately go into the execution, AUF, and that's my solve.
Alright, so actually I don't know how to do this CSP, but it's paw fist, and this paw fist is pretty good. So how I do it is I do this, and then I'll basically make it into paw by bringing this pair up, doing it 2 on the bottom, and then bringing it back, and then finish paw like that. And then for this, you can see it's a 1 slice siauw, but what we can do instead, or not instead, but if we do it like this, we'll get 4 on top and 4 on the bottom. So if we align the bottom layer instead, we'll just get M2, and then we get RJ. And so this is actually a 5 slice PVL, except this RJ is one of the worst ones, and the equator is flipped, so we'll have to flip the equator at the end. But anyway, how you do it is you're gonna misalign both layers, and you do flash 3 3 2 -1 -2 1, and then from here we'll do 3 -3 and cancel the equator flip.
Alright, so now I'm going to go into the reach instruction for the 565 that I got for the 20 Square-1 cubers 1 scramble thing. So it's a pretty dumb solve. So I have left fist, left pawn, left fist. So most people like turn it into 3-3-L. I do not like that alg though. So I just do 1 slice to square scallop. So I did it like that. Then I had this 2 slice CO. Then I had 3-3. And here I saw that I had JJ, but parity on both layers. So if I just did the normal JJ alg, I would get Adj with D2.
Right, so I have left pawn, right fist, and I trace even. So for this CSP, my alg is this, like the 2 pawns and then solid pawn in the back. I have this red block and this red corner, so I just do DU2, pair them up. Then I have this second block case, so I just pair the corners up and insert these edges with M2s. Insert the blue edge on the bottom. This CP case, it's diagonal, and I see I have an H perm, so I just cancel into it.
Hi everyone, I'm an Italian lean user. For this Square-1 Scramble, I traced CSP and I got that I had to do this. Take the pawn there. Move the L, this top L, right there, to connect it on the bottom, in the back. I did fist. Then I saw this block, which got preserved. I moved it right there to save it, and finished the cube shape. I solved pretty easily this first block in this way. This was right there, pretty easy to recognize. I took it on the bottom. Then I connected, with the second block, I took this one up there. Then from there, I took it back down. I made this part of the block. I took it up and got it down again. With an entry, I placed this edge down there. I then did a neutral to do CP+1, which is a set of algorithms which inserts this edge from there to there, and then permutes the corner. In this case, it's just a Y perm and then this edge. Pretty easy. Then I got with a new perm with the bar flip. So I started doing the U perm and then got this cancel in the bar flip.
Alright, I'm Samuel Fang, or Q-Master, and here's my example solve. So I'm not going through my whole CSP tracing because that takes way too long. However, I will go through what's going on through my mind. So I'll do parity here with my right hand. Cross is odd parity, uncross is even parity, so yeah. First off, white edges, leave that. Black edges are fine, black corners fine. White corners have parity, odd corners, nothing, odd edges, something. So we get even trace for the CSP. So I'll solve the CS from this angle. I'll hide this and bring this to the left here to solve it into pawn. For PCOP, I think it's this piece, which is white. And also, we'll start with a down slice here to make it regroupless. So, like this. Get the pawn, and solve it like this. PCOP, this is white, which means with this being white, these two are white. So I'll do UD prime slice. And from here, it's actually pretty obvious. It's 4-4. Don't need to look at the bottom. So just do M2, M2. I could have canceled there, but I didn't quite see that. And then for here, pretty simple case, no bar flip, which is good. We have P on bottom and C on top. So first off, do an op from this angle, like this. And after that, we have RJ. So I would do it from this angle. And that solves the PBO. There you go.
Okay, so for this scramble I got a 12.84, which is pretty average for me, considering I average low 13. So what I did for this scramble was I made a square scallop and solved it like this to make kite scallop, and solved kite scallop like this. Then for CO, I put the yellow bar on the left and did slice, U prime slice, U prime slice. Then I solved this 1-1 like this. Now I had AV, which is pretty good considering I can first good use. So I misaligned the bottom, did JN, and I have good use.
Okay, so I have this cube shape, which is palm fist, and I got even, so I have to do this into shield kite, into shield square, and then siauw, and eo, and I note I have a J here and a J here, and I know I have to do D prime to solve it. So D prime, JJ on the back, and from here I know I have a really easy PBL, which is the CZ.
For this scramble, I actually don't know the CSP, so I just did my normal cube shape from this angle. Turn it into shield kite, and then to shield square, and everything's normal. And from this point, I can kind of predict the CO, so that's normal. And then here I pushed with my right hand while doing a D2 on my left hand, and then normal EO. And then I noticed at the top is a G perm, so I offset this by 1 to give me a nice UU case. For AOF, I went this way just because it's more comfortable for me to execute.
Alright, so I traced even, which is the good alg. So I set it up like this. And then I just make it to this. And solved it like that. And then I had 2 slice CO, which I did like this. And then I had 3, 3. And then I had this 2 CP PBL. I had GA, so I just misaligned this and did JJ. And then I did an alternate alg, so I wouldn't have to do the flip. And the alternate NJL goes like this. And then I just had to do D prime.
So on the scramble, I traced odd. And so for left pawn, this is left pawn, left fist, and pretty much I'm going to do a Y2. And I'm going to solve the cube shape by bringing this pair up and then solving it into pawn-pawn, like this. Next, I have this easy 1 slice CO, and I'm going to misalign the bottom layer when I do my CO, because if I misalign the top, I'm going to get, like, all of the edges unoriented, and it's just a lot easier just to misalign the bottom layer first, because now I just have to do U prime D, and then M2. And then here, my plan would be to force O opposite. I think that's just the best case to do. So pretty much I'm going to bring all the headlights in the back. And for the top layer, I'm going to make sure that I don't preserve these like kind of opposite blocks, if that makes sense. So instead of misaligning it, I'm going to leave it aligned like this. And then with the bottom layer to get opposite, I want to make sure that this little opposite block also, I guess, this opposite block is preserved. So pretty much I'm also going to leave the bottom aligned. And so if I just do JJ, I have O opposite. And that was a 632.
Okay, so I started by rotating over here, and then I traced odd, meaning I have to pair this up in the front rather than the back. So I've started by moving this over here with a -4, brought this up. Also I saw this blue pair here in inspection, and I know that's preserved. I didn't know exactly where it would end up, but that's easy to track. So as I did cube shape like this, pair this up in the front, did this. I sort of kept track of this, and my look ahead in here wasn't the best, so I had to sort of look at the back to see this, and then pair it up in the front like that. And then we had a pretty bad second block, but the pieces are here, here, and here. And it's a 5 slice block, but I'm going to do 6 slices since the equator is currently not flipped. I don't know if I actually don't know if that's the best thing to do, but that's like what I do, because I'm too too lazy to learn to cancel into equator flips in all my algs. So we bring this here, and then instead of just bringing this down with one slice now, we do an M2, and then pair it up with the corners with an M2, and then noticing how this edge is solved, which I've noticed quite a long time ago by now, we bring that down, and our entire first layer is solved. So now we just have a V-perm, and this is not the optimal V-perm alg, because the optimal one flips the equator. So what's good about this one is it's going to leave no AUDF. So it goes like this. It's pretty bad, but you know, it's a V-perm. So yeah, here's my reconstruction.
So starting off with first stage, I'm going to solve CSP. If you don't know what CSP is, it's kind of simple. But basically what you do is to solve the cube shape while at the same time fixing any parity error. Like in this case, I traced and I got even, which means that I'll have that when I'm gonna pair this L with these two edges, I'll have to move anything I move clockwise if I get even. Let's make an example. So in this case, I gotta pair this L with these two. I'm gonna do this, and then when I bring this L into these, as you can see, I'm gonna rotate clockwise. This way I'm avoiding parities, okay? And as I was inspecting, I also know that at the end of CSP, this block will be here, and this corner will be in the back. So I will just have to do U prime slice D. So this, to get pone in the back, this, and this. Now, as I already predicted in inspection, I'm gonna pair this with this, and I get this pretty good case. I mean, kind of good. But basically from here, I already see that this corner goes down. Here I see the corner edge, and while I'm building the second block, I know that this is an odd case, which basically means that it requires an odd amount of slices to be solved. And because I'm trying to fix a middle layer while I solve the second block, I'll have to fix it. So let me show you what I mean. So I will pair these two corners and bring the edge down. Then I will create the block. Now instead of just inserting it, I'm gonna move it here, slice to fix the middle layer and bring it down. So I already know that I'm gonna get a PLL, I already know that I'm gonna get an opposite swap and CV permutation. So this solve for a lean was pretty bad, not gonna lie, but it's still doable. And then here with a V-perm, you normally just go like this, but because the middle layer is fixed, you just move it away and solve the rest, what's remaining. And basically in these cases, fixing middle layer is not a really good idea because it makes you lose time, but as I calculated, it's more or less like 13 times out of 180 and even more. So the chance of getting these bad cases is pretty low. Luckily, the scramble for a lean was pretty bad, and I don't think I could get less than 7 seconds, but no, maybe it was possible. I don't know, anyway, pretty bad solve for a lean, but hopefully you enjoyed.
So, for this cube shape, I traced even. So, how we would do it is like this. Then we have this shape. You can solve like that. Then we had a 1 slice CO. And this easy EO. And then for this PVO, instead of doing like this, what you can do is swap these two and these two. At least like that was the angle I had it best for, so like that. And then we're left with JJ. JJ.